Folks, I'm going to be giving you some things today that can double your business. Type 2X if you guys want to double your business in the next 365 days, okay? I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know. The email that you got today says 5 ways to double your business, but I'm an overachiever, right? I like to over-deliver. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys 6 different ways to 2X your business. Is that fair? Is that fair, guys? Type exclamation point in the chat, all right? And by the way, I am not like a 47-year-old dude that likes to play Simon Says, okay? I'm actually having you guys type into the chat for a couple of reasons. Number one, studies have shown that we retain 10% of what we read and 20 or 30% of what we see and we hear, okay? But when you write at the same time, it's like 30, 40, 50%, okay? And then if you were to take these concepts that I teach to you guys and then turn around and teach them to somebody else in your office, not only would you be a good Samaritan, but it's going to cement it in your brain as well. Does that make sense, guys? Type a 1 in the chat if that makes sense, okay? Because yes, I would like a lot of engagement from you guys, but it's so that we can get the information to stick in your brain. We are actually doing a neuro hack. Studies have shown that you create neural pathways from the information when you write, when you type, etc. You with me, guys? Okay, cool. This isn't just like some sort of weird game of Simon Says, all right? So that being said, folks, what I want to go over today is something very, very simple, okay? We all want to grow our businesses, but how many of you guys have ever felt like you're like pushing on the pull door, right? You know what I mean? Like you're trying real hard and you think this makes sense and it's kind of intuitive. Like I can see the door. I want to get to the other side of the door, but I just can't get through it. You guys ever felt that? Okay. That's a bottleneck. Okay. That feeling is when you're hitting a bottleneck in your business. And the best way I can describe it, guys, there's this thing called the theory of constraints, okay? In fact, type constraint if you can, all right? No, we're not gonna, this isn't a spelling bee, all right? So type constraint in the chat. The theory of constraints dictates that if you have a bottleneck in your business, okay, anybody in any given business has only one bottleneck. Now, there might be multiple things that you struggle with, but a bottleneck being defined as the point that you struggle with your business the most. It's kind of like the word priority. There's no such thing as priorities. Priority is there can only be one by definition because it's the one thing that comes before everything. There's only one first place. You with me, guys? Conversely, all right, your constraint in your business, your bottleneck in your business should be your number one priority. So a lot of people are like, man, like they're like filling up, I'll give you a car analogy because car analogies work real well, right? It's like putting in windshield washing fluid when you got a flat tire. Which is going to help you get to your destination quicker? Putting windshield washer fluid in or fixing the flat tire when you're on the side of the road? You with me, guys? Okay. So what a lot of people do is they'll look at their business and be like, oh no, I just need more social media. Oh no, I just need to buy more leads. Oh no, I just need a new CRM. No, you don't. You know what you need? You need more customers in your pipeline. Guys, tell me if it's not true. Okay, type customers if you agree. If you could figure out a way to have an endless supply of customers in your pipeline, everything else in the business would take care of itself. Am I wrong? Okay, Linda's with me, Scott's with me. Yeah, Yaneta's with me, Sam's with me. Okay, guys, the biggest problem most people have, they think it's, oh, I gotta get this flyer out. Oh, I gotta post on Facebook or Instagram, or oh, I gotta figure out ways to do this. No, you need to pick up the phone and talk to more people. This is a contact business, and the more hands you shake, the more money you make. Think about it this way, folks. Okay, this is my personal theory, and then we'll get into the exact steps. Okay. Can anybody tell me what generation owns the vast majority of commercial real estate? Can anybody tell me? Type it in the chat for me. All right. Boomers. Exactly, guys. And guess what? They're not getting any younger, and we still haven't figured out a way for them to live forever. So we are on the verge, and I mentioned this last week, and or was it the week before? We are on the verge of what they call the silver tsunami. We are on the verge of the largest transfer of wealth in human history. Why? Because there's a whole generation of folks hanging on to the majority of the commercial real estate assets. With me, guys? Okay. Scott says, I'm surfing that silver tsunami. You better believe it. Okay. So get ready. All right. Do you remember that song? Okay. I'm going to go back. I like old music, right? The Doors. had a song about 5 to 1, yeah, 1 in 5. They were talking about the baby boomer generation. I bet you didn't know that. No one here gets out alive. Yeah. So what they're talking about is the baby boomer generation was so big, and it's like, you better get ready because we're taking over. Well, guess what? They took over and they own all the commercial real estate. All right. Point being, folks, this skill that I am teaching to you guys is one of the most lucrative skills. We out-earn doctors, we out-earn lawyers, we out-earn surgeons if you know how to do it right. Guys, type a dollar bill in the chat if you're with me. This gets me so freaking fired up. You know why? You don't need to have a master's. You don't even need a college education. You can do this with a high school diploma, okay? And probably even a GED. The point is, you can make a lot of money in this business if you have the right skills. So let's talk about those skills, okay? Can anybody tell me what that funnel looks like? What is at the very, very top of the funnel? My students, you guys have the inside track. Sam, Linda, you guys, type it in the chat. What is the, yeah, boom, exactly. What did I say, folks? You need to pick up the phone and reach out and touch somebody, okay? Right? So dials are at the top of the funnel, okay? So what does that mean? You got to know who to reach out to. You got to know what to say, and you got to know how to say it, okay? But that is where everything starts. So there's 5 ways that you, there's actually 6, but I'll give you a bonus, all right? There's 5 ways you can double your income in the next 24 months, okay? When I first learned this strategy, okay, I tripled my income in the first 24 months. Now, this is pre-COVID. I went from 140 to 500 a year in 24 months. So I know it's possible. And then the post-COVID dollars, everything is like double, all right? At least in my market. Point is, okay, if you want to double your income, you can spend twice as much time working, right? Logical. Everything else being equal, you go from 40 hours a week to 80 hours a week, and you're going to earn twice the amount of money, right? Guys, that's not groundbreaking. I know, but I want to start from ground zero. Half of you would probably wind up divorced in the next 12 months. So that's probably not the way we want you guys to get there. Okay. So what's the next thing you can do? Start thinking about your funnel. Okay. What do we do in the funnel? We reach out and call someone. We then book a meeting. From the meeting, we then pitch our listing. From then we get a listing. From then we get it on the market. And from there we get it sold and we put cold hard cash in our pockets. With me, guys? Okay, so what's at the top? Instead of spending 40 hours a week, instead of spending 80 hours a week, let's stick to the normal 40, okay? Right? What if instead of working twice as much, you did twice as much of the one activity that moves the needle the most? Remember, like I said, guys, theories of constraints, where is that bottleneck in your business? For 99% of agents and folks, I speak with well over 1,000 agents a year, and I've been doing this for years. I've spoken to probably 4,000 or 5,000 agents at this point about this specific problem. And number one thing is they're not prospecting enough. So if you were to double your dials, this is number 2. So number 1 is work twice as much. If you were to double your dials, everything else being equal, you would double the amount of money made. There we go, Yaneda. Exactly. Make calls, 2x your calls. If you're making 10 a day, make 20 a day. Guess what? Twice the amount of calls, twice the amount of meetings, twice the amount of listings, twice the amount of dollars in your pocket. You with me, guys? Has anyone ever heard that saying? I think it was Benjamin Franklin said it. I could be wrong. But he said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Folks, okay? Think about it this way. When you start pushing on the push door instead of pulling on the push door, life gets a whole lot easier, okay? So way number 1, work twice as much. Most of you probably don't want to do that. But way number 2 is make twice as many dials, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Scott. Zig Ziglar. Yeah. Awesome. Or Groucho Marx, whatever. We all have the interwebs. We'll figure it out. But the point remains, okay, we want to make sure we are doubling the amount of opportunities, right? Pick up the phone, call twice as many people, you get through to twice as many people, you have twice as many meetings, okay? That's number 2. Number 3, okay, you can get twice as good at converting strangers on the phone to meetings. Can anybody tell me how you do that? What do you have to have, guys? What do you have to have? Type it in the chat. What do we got? Scott, what is it? Script practice. Boom. Exactly. Okay. Remember, folks, this is my top 3. This is what I tell people. Okay. You have to have the right message to the right person and at the right time. Without those 3, you're not getting listings. Wrong person, right message, right time. Right person, right message, wrong time. Well, it's only when you line up the right person with the right message and at the right time. Okay. So you have to have the right message. That right message is what's going to allow you to convert a stranger into someone who's willing to have a conversation with you about the sale of your building. Not, I want to put a face to the name. Not, I want to drop off a business card. Not, I want to shake your hand. You with me, guys? Okay, that's all stuff that the average agents do. And I know for those of you that are here every week, you're not average agents. Okay, cool. So number 1, number 2, number 3, we got those, right? Number 1 is work double the hours. Number 2 is work make double the dials. And number 3 is get twice as good at the scripts that open the door for you. Okay. All right. What's number 4? What comes next? Well, after you talk to somebody, you then set a meeting. What if you had a very straightforward listing framework conversation? What if you knew exactly what to say in order to bring people through kind of a journey with you so that you can understand their motivations, show them that you're the right agent for the job, and then show them what's going on in the market so that they list at an appropriate price? What would that be worth, guys? Okay, so you could get twice as good at your listing presentation. You with me, guys? All this is a funnel. You guys know what I mean by a funnel? Something goes in the top, something comes out the bottom, all right? How good you are in the middle determines how much comes out the bottom. Okay, you're never going to put 100 units in and 100 come out the bottom. You're always going to lose something along the way. But the better you get at making more dials, having the right message to the right person at the right time, and then finally presenting properly. Does that make sense, guys? Type presentation in the chat if you're with me, all right? So here's the thing. We can get twice as good at those scripts. We can get twice as good at the listing presentation. Can anybody tell me what gets listings sold? Type that in the chat for me, folks. What gets listings sold? What's the number one thing? The number one thing that gets them sold, right? What do we have here? Yes, exposure and pricing. So let's just assume that exposure is all the same, boom, exactly. It's right price. Because here's the thing. You could have the best exposure. You could take out billboards. You can skywrite in every major city. But if you're asking too much for something, you guys have heard me do the $23 thing, right? Okay. You ask $20 for a $20 bill, you'll get it all day long. You ask $19 for a $20 bill, you'll get a bidding frenzy. You ask $23 for a $20 bill, folks, you're going to be sitting there waiting a long time. With me on that? Okay. So the most important thing to understand is, yes, exposure is important. Pricing. When you get things priced right, and oftentimes you're only off by a little bit, you get one small reduction and the thing just comes to life, okay? The market is a living, breathing organism, okay? So what I want you guys to understand is we have to line all these things up, okay? So finally, and most importantly, you need to know how to manage your due diligence, okay? There's a lot of people that will put a good property under contract with a bad buyer, okay? Doesn't mean they're a bad person. They're just a bad fit for that property. What does that mean? Maybe they're not fully vetted. Maybe you don't know whether or not they have the money to close the deal. Maybe they're just trying to get it under contract so they can try to flip it or assign it or this or that, okay? Without a lot of people will just take anyone that can fog up a mirror, they're going to put it under contract. You are doing your client a disservice if you do that. Okay. Hand in hand with putting the right people under contract is managing due diligence. Okay. If you guys don't know exactly what I mean by managing due diligence, you're not managing due diligence. There are several things that you can do during due diligence to increase the probability of the property getting sold, okay? So number 6, okay, in terms of ways to double is price your properties properly and manage your due diligence properly, okay? Putting the right people under contract and managing throughout, okay? There's a lot of things that you can do to speed things up, okay? So here's the thing, folks. I understand a lot of these things doing double the dials. That might be a lot of work. Getting twice as good at your scripts. That might be a lot. Getting twice as good at your listing presentation. All these things, you can do any single one of these, right? And double your business. Do you see that, guys? Type 2x in the chat, and you could see of any of those 6 things that I just showed you, that any one of them could 2x your business. Okay. Now, who here wants a silver lining to this? Okay. All right. Alex is with me. Guys, you don't have to do any of those 2x to 2x your business. What if you did 20% more dials? And what if you got 20% better with your scripts? And what if you got 20% better at your presentation? And what if you got 20% better with your pricing? And what if you got 20% better at putting the right people under contract and managing due diligence? Do you see 20 plus 20 plus? What's 20 plus 20? What's 20 times 5? Can you guys tell me that? I'm not real good at math these days. Tell me what's 20 times 5? Ah,
100.
so exactly. Thank you. So, folks, right? You get 20% better. 20% is very small. Instead of 5 dials, you make 6 dials. You with me? Okay. That's the point. Well, if you get 20% better at 5 different things, can you see how you can double your business in a year's time? Type 100 if you're with me, guys. This is why we're here, to start looking at things through a different lens. Because most people are like, oh man, I don't want to work 80 hours this week. I don't want to double. I don't want to make twice the amount of time. You don't have to. Okay. Just get a little bit better at a small handful of things. Now, here's the thing, guys. This is all great, but let me put it into context for you. Folks, the more business you have, the more you can be picky about the business you take. And then tell me, folks, how many of you have pain in the ass clients? Come on, raise your hands. Be honest. Come on, Sam. Come on, Linda. Come on, Scott. Herb, right? That's what I'm talking about. Imagine, just imagine if you could fire the clients that you don't like. Hey, que rico, right? Who wouldn't love to do that? The point is, folks, when you have 15 or 20 or 25 listings, you don't have to put up with the turds. You can cut them loose. You know why? Because what's 1 out of 20? Type a percentage in the chat if you guys are mathematicians here. Come on, Einsteins. What's 1 out of 20? Exactly. Thank you, Scott. Quick on the draw. I love that, dude. 5%, guys. That's 5%. Now, what's 1 out of 2? What's 1 out of 2, guys? All right, boom, exactly. Guys, when you have 20 listings, you can call the shots. Why? Because if you lose one, it's 5% of your listing inventory. You got 2 listings, you got a problem. Your listing inventory just got cut in half. Guys, I'll never forget. I fired a client for reaching out to me at like 11 o'clock on a Thursday night to bitch about something on LoopNet. I said, we'll have this conversation in the morning. And guys, I didn't lose 1. I didn't lose 2. I lost 3 listings. You know what, though? I was in control at that point. It was a turning point in my career. So, guys, type fire or put a little fire emoji in the chat if you'd like to get rid of those people. Because here's the thing, guys. For those of you that have ever heard of the 80-20 rule, okay? Now you tell me if this sounds about right. 20% of your clients will give you 80% of your headaches, right? Nice people aren't going to act like jerks. Jerks are going to act like jerks. And most people are pretty nice. Most people are pretty cool, pretty reasonable. They get their little flare-ups. Yeah. But what I find is so type 80-20 if that sounds about right to you. Think about it. You got 5 clients, 1's a trouble. You got 10 clients, you got 2 that are trouble. Other than that, most people are pretty cool, right? Yep, you're with me? Okay. Guys, it is so empowering when you have enough business coming in that you can fire clients if they act up. Or better yet, you ready for this? This is gangster right here. Refer them to people you don't like. Aha! They're not gonna turn them down. I promise you. Someone that's in the business, someone that's your competition, give them the turd, sandbag them. Screw it. We play to win, guys. All right, cool. So the point is, folks, when you get 20% better at 5 different things, you double your business, you can start calling the shots. That's why being a listing agent, folks, is so darn important. Because as a buying agent, you are holding a tiger by the tail and it's just pulling you throughout your day. Oh my God, when's it going to end? As opposed to you got a tiger by a chain and they're walking by your side and you're leading that tiger. That's the difference between the 2 approaches, folks. And I tell you what, it feels a whole lot better when you determine when the listing is. You determine how fast you jump when someone calls. You determine whether you do something on a Saturday instead of the other party. You with me, guys? With me? Okay, type hashtag listing agent because that is what we do, folks. And if you're not doing it, get wise to it because if the silver tsunami is coming, but we also are due for a pretty decent recession. And guess what? Buying agents are going the way of the dodo bird. Okay. This is like 3 years ago now. Okay. Fourth quarter, I double ended 4 out of the 5 transactions that I did. And I owe that in big part to LoopNet. So guess what? Customers, okay, they're no longer going to a buying agent and then the buying agent takes them to LoopNet. They're going straight to LoopNet. And most people are internet savvy these days, guys. You get a bunch of listings, you put those bad boys on LoopNet, you're going to get buyers galore if they're priced right. Point is, buying agents are going the way of the dodo bird. You better learn these skills or else. All right, folks? Look forward to seeing you guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.